All right, everybody. How's everybody doing out there today? How y'all doing? Hope you guys are having a great Saturday morning is where I'm at. A Saturday afternoon, maybe where you're at, or Saturday evening where James is at. Big shout out to James. James, what are you up to over there? I gotta fix your window real quick. Let me get that fixed. Here we go. How you doing, James? What's going on, man? What's going on over there in
I'm all good,
England?
man. I'm all good. Dressed like the white Kanye, the better Kanye.
You got the white Kanye going on. Is it cold over there still? It got a little cold over here where I'm
Yeah,
at.
it went a bit south for the winter today. You know what I mean? It was lovely yesterday, so I had the pink ensemble on. I decided to ditch the school uniform look, so I had the pink ensemble on, the weekend offender football thug gear on, and I was like rocking the shorts and having a good time, spilling my beer all over my desk, but no one noticed, thank God. So I was like,
Well,
because when I was telling my juicy stories and D-Wag started tripping out, I went like this. I was like, "Oh fuck, beer gone," and it was like I was trying to be professional, and I'm like, it's literally dripping all over me. I'm like, "Fucking hell, man!" But yeah,
yeah.
it's like that's the thing with England. You know what I mean? We have a couple of good days, and then we have a week of about bad weather.
Oh
Now, I mean,
man.
it's consistently inconsistent. I
Yeah.
have no idea how Americans come over here and stay.
Oh, bro.
I have
Yeah.
no idea how
Yeah.
they stay, because I don't know how they can put up with 9 months of dreary, dismal, damn weather.
Yeah, we got a place like that in America. It's called San Francisco, and the weather absolutely sucks, except for maybe like a couple days out of the year where it's beautiful. I completely understand that. It got a little bit cold here too. I think it's in the middle of April, and I would have thinking it was going to be warmer by now, but I had to get it back out my toboggan and throw on a little bit of that because I was cold this morning. I got my sweater on, so maybe we got a little bit of that English bluster over here, James. Let me jump into the chat and say what's up to our guy, Miami John. He's out there doing his thing, grinding away. Shout out to you, Miami John. I think next week we're going to have a pizza party on Bruvs Unite. That's going to be on Wednesday. And so I'm just going to keep announcing it. Started today. We're going to let everybody know that we're going to have a pizza party. So bring your pizza to Bruvs Unite. That's Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. That's this Wednesday coming up.
Pizza and pillow fights. Come
That's
on,
right.
guys.
That's right. Well, I'll try to recruit some girls to do some pillow fights. And you guys bring your pizza. I'm going to bring my pizza. James is going to bring his pizza. We're going to try to order a pizza on air for Miami John down there and have a good time with that. And if any of the other bros want to jump on and grab a pizza with us, they should do that. Let's fucking go. We got Draw Zombie out there. It's a great morning to be a zombie. I hope you're out there having a good time, zombie. Hillbilly Harry, shout out to you, bro. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Hope Jared's having a great Saturday too. Hoping you guys are kicking ass and taking names and all that good stuff and just crushing it out there. James, we had a good time last night, didn't we? We were talking all kinds of stories. We were talking about some fun stuff. We were talking about what's going on in the love life. You had some pretty great stories. So I was getting a kick out of that. Were you surprised when you kind of got D-Wag a little bit surprised? Were you surprised by that?
I'm always surprised by people's reactions, because I'm kind of like this guy that I'm an open book. I say it to everyone. I come on here, I give you the authenticity. I'm pretty charismatic. I just say it how it is. And these are just the stories of my life. For me, it's like a Monday or a Tuesday. It wasn't a big deal then, and it really isn't a big deal now. You know what I mean? I just lived through some funny times. I've had some funny experiences, and I've got loads of other stories to tell, but I might have to keep them on the back burner if D-Wag's going to get a bit schoolgirl giddy, you know? I mean, he's going to start getting a bit tripping out. It was a really weird reaction, I thought, but it was funny. I like D-Wag. I love him to bits, but like, he got the bit, didn't he? And then there was all these jokes whirring around in his head, and he couldn't get them out quick enough. And then, because I was like reacting to it, and then I smacked with beer all over. I'm more pissed off that I lost a beer.
Yeah.
Do you know that's a criminal offence to me, that a beer got wasted and ended up on my carpet?
Yeah.
But no, I love that stuff. It's funny. It's like when you went afterwards, didn't you? You went and bounced on Dr. Till, right?
Yeah.
And this is how I differ from all the other people online, right? I don't really know Johnny that well, but Johnny was doing an impression of me, right? And people get it into their head. They're going, is he laughing with me? Is he laughing at me? Is it a bit of both? And then you've got me who doesn't care. Because think about it, right? Johnny Rocket didn't know who the fuck I was 2 months ago. Now he spent 2 hours doing an impression of me.
Now, Johnny
he spent
Rocket,
2 hours.
Yeah,
So
he did a pretty
he knows now. He knows, right? And it's like with the merch thing, with the super tips, right? Think about it. My name, my face on my favourite show, one of the biggest shows in our little environment, revolves around me and people using my voice to either take the piss out of me or take the piss out of other people. That's a huge win for me. Yeah. You've got D-Wag and Zaid and as you know, making like fucking art of me and fucking graphics and caricatures and all that shit, mate. That is just like winning.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
like
Yeah, it's just
totally winning
it's
at the
people
moment.
having a good time, and I thought Johnny did a great job with
Yeah.
your impersonation and your accent. You know, he kind of got a little bit of Australian, a little bit of pirate sometimes, but that was awesome. He kept up the act for the whole 2 hours, and I was very impressed by that.
Yeah, he picked up the words, he picked up the mannerisms.
Yeah, he had your jargon down. He had your colloquialisms. I was trying to do him, but I broke after about 30, 45 minutes, and I was just like, Johnny, how are you still doing this? You're doing great. So I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, then we got
But yeah, see,
then we got your voice on Nightwave. I'm really liking that. I hear that all the time now. You're like the #1 voice, South London James, on supertip.gg/merch. When you watch Nightwaves, everybody, go ahead and use that voice. It's hilarious. It's so aggressive. It's like, "Oi, I'm gonna fuck you up, bruv." Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty good.
but when you put stories out there, right, you can't legislate, right, for how people are going to think, how people are going to feel, how people are going to react. You know, you just put it out there, and you shouldn't get lost in the weeds or beat up about it. You know, people are going to have opinions. People are going to like you. People are going to dislike you. People are going to hate you. And I've never tripped out about any of that. I think the things with like the likes with Liam, Vito, and Frog Tony, they're very fragile. They're very sensitive. They're not old school blokes. They worry about it every time. It plays into their head, and this is why they took your like veto contest the wrong way. I would have fully embraced it.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that you had like when you were on there, Dr. Till, there was like my art was up there when you were watching it. That little thing that I knocked out where I did like Vito as the yellow
Right,
bastard, and people were ripping on it and taking the piss, and they go, that's definitely not AI because the art is so shit. And I found it hilarious.
Yeah.
I wasn't like going, oh my god. My art, the criticism of my art, I could give two shits and a fuck. I think it's funny. I'm glad that people are taking some kind of enjoyment about things that I'm putting out there,
Yeah.
whether it's positive, whether it's negative. I said to you before we come on stream, shoot me, right? Or take me off stream if I ever become one of those guys that just sits there in the square and says nothing
No, we're
while
gonna
you're
shoot
reading
you.
articles about Disney princesses and woke this and
Yeah.
woke that.
I-
I'm not of the 2016 class. That's not me.
Yeah, we got to get that content. We got to shoot you on camera. No, I completely agree with you. You're 100% right. The other thing too I noticed is like all those guys criticizing that the art, they didn't make their art. They didn't try. They didn't have an entry. And that's kind of what it was all about. It was like, do you want to sit on the sideline and not participate, or do you want to get in the game and have some fun? Yeah, you might not win, you might get a couple of hits or whatever, but you're going to have a good time, you're going to have an experience, and you're going to be a part of something. Like, for example, with Woodstock, you know, that music festival back in the 70s, you know, if you had the opportunity to go to Woodstock, wouldn't you want to go and say, yo, I saw Jimmy Page, I saw,
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. I saw, what's his name? Have a Little Help for the Friends.
I saw a lot of saggy tits.
Joe Cocker. Yeah. I saw, all those people. You would want to get in there and do that, bro. So, I say to all those people who are criticizing, bro, you're just keeping yourself out of the fun. Go to the party, have a good time, get a drink, do a line of coke, maybe hit a joint or something, bro. Ease up.
Do you want to do a 3-hour stream being like totally negative?
No, I
just
don't.
like go.
I would not.
This guy said this about me, and I need to set the record straight. I tell you, I need to set the record straight. Listen, I'm Liam, and I deserve respect.
Well,
you can't demand respect. People are going to take you as they find you. People are going to like you, people are going to love you, people are going to hate you. And it's the same with me.
Yeah.
There's people that I've made like really good online friends with that are always there. We have a laugh, we do the bands. And I'm sure there's people like someone was saying I'm like Chocat. Mate, I'm fucking nothing like that mug Chocat. Don't even compare me. I'm nothing like that guy.
Well,
honest
you guys
to God.
are both English.
You're right, you know me, right?
Yeah.
You know me, the best and the most. I'm nothing like I'm reliable. Yeah. I'm always asking after people in the chat. I'm always trying to respond. Like I'm a stand-up guy. That guy's nothing like me. But it's funny because they think the accent, we're all related or something.
Well, it's funny because like Americans, we're lazy in that respect. We think all Asians look alike, all English people sound alike, blah blah blah. I do like Chokeout. I think he's a good guy. I like his shoe collection and all that. He's a fun guy. So I don't have any. I think he's entertaining.
I'm just not like him.
Yeah, you're just not like him. Yeah. And also you don't sound like an Australian pirate. But like I like Liam too. That's neither here nor there. But let me jump in the chat real quick. We got a couple of people showing up. We got Riley. He's saying, "Good morning. I'll stumble in eventually." Yeah, you got the link, buddy. You can come in. He said everything bad is the fault of California almond farmers. Boy, is that not the truth? We could go into that for a good 15, 20 minutes, and maybe we will. King Yeti says, "Howdy, heathens. Good to see you." Who else we got? Reverend All 148 says, "Greetings from Germanstan, lads." Well, greetings to you. Are you over there in Germany? Shout out to you all the way from Germany. Let's fucking go. That's awesome.
Birds and the Beers, mate. Oktoberfest, that kind of thing. They got it going on
I'd
over there.
love
I
to
tell
go
you,
to
man.
Oktoberfest. Yeah. Oh my
Big
god.
boob blondes and lots of beer, mate. What can you not love about that?
And pretzels, bro. Real deal pretzels. Oh, and
giant pretzels.
Sausage. That's right up my alley, bro. King Yeti says, "What's going on?" Carrie, she says, "Yay!" Shout out to you, Carrie. Hope you're having a good time. She said she's
back on X. Yeah, she's back on X.
Good to see you, Carrie. She says she went to enough Grateful Dead shows to make up for not being alive during Woodstock. But see, that's my point. What if you never went to a Grateful Dead show? What if you just listened in your room and you never went out and had that experience of going to the Grateful Dead show or having a good time?
I went and saw a drowning pool, right? I forget what the lead singer's name was, right? But I went and saw Drowning Pool at the London Astoria with my mate Tom, right? And the lead singer, who I forget his name was, he was at the bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, he ordered like a couple of double vodkas and cokes, right? And I was like, all right, mate, I'm not going to see you again. I'll buy them for you.
Right.
So I bought the geezer a couple of double vodka and cokes. And then he only went and fucking OD'd a bit later, didn't he? I think like he died, didn't he? And I'm like, I've bought a couple of vodka and cokes for a guy that OD'd. I couldn't be prouder, you know what I mean? I showed him respect before he died.
I thought you were going to have a good story there, but no, he ends up ODing. That's great.
Yeah, he died, didn't he? OD'd, that drowning pool guy. No. But I bought him a couple of double vodka and cokes back in the day before he OD'd.
When I lived in San Francisco for about 2 years, a little over 2 years, and I would take the bus into the city. I lived in the Richmond area, if you're familiar with that, and I worked right on Samson down in downtown. And I would take the bus, and I would have to pass the Fillmore. And if you guys are musical people, you know about the Fillmore. You had all kinds of people playing at the Fillmore. And so I actually went there to the Fillmore a couple times, and that was legendary to be able to go there. It's a lot smaller than you would think, but it was awesome. I really had a great time doing it. So get out there and do it. We got Leighton Gay. He says, "What's going on, brother? Afternoon to you, Leighton. I hope you're having a great day." Kelly Cat, shout out to you. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. We got that was the OG lead singer, says King Yeti. That must have been a long time ago, James. He says, "Wow."
Yeah, I was a young whippersnapper. I think I was in like what was it, late teens, early 20s. Me and my mate Tom, we used to go to concerts. We saw Jimmy Eat World, because that was the music we were into at the time. Alkaline Trio, we went and saw, at Brixton Academy, London Astoria, stuff like that. I hate it when you talk about people and you haven't seen them in years, you know what I mean? You feel a bit grubby about it, but I ain't seen Tom in years. But he was a good lad, you know what I mean? He was a proper good looking lad, you know what I mean? He was a proper ladies man in the Lothario, right? And I was too. But the problem is, he kind of got the better of me sometime, and I didn't like it. So eventually, I had to cut him. I had to cut him loose because he was snaking on.
No. When you have a couple of guys that all can pull women together and they're all get along, this is great because then you could work as a team. You're like orca whales, positioning the pod of seals to pick them off and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun.
I don't know what happened to him, to be fair. I don't know what happened to him. When you just grow apart and you start making new friends, you get a different job and he gets a different job, people move away. It's like my cousin. He's been lucky. He's managed to hold on to all these school friends, all these college friends, all these university friends. Me, not so much. I already see the guys now, you know what I mean? And during COVID, they took a very different stance to what I took. So it's kind of when you had that, they kind of it was a very much make or break thing for them. You know what I mean? COVID. But I think a lot of people lost a lot of friends and family during the COVID wars.
Yeah, the COVID wars. That's so funny. Yeah, fantastic. I agree. We got Leighton Gay. He says Alkaline is one of the best live acts around. I agree with that. James, what's the best live show you saw in your past? And then also chat, if you went out and saw a live concert, what's the best one you saw? We'll try to think about that.
I think it was Jimmy Eat World. I fucking love Jimmy Eat World. I can't remember. Did I see him at the Astoria or Brixton Academy? I can't remember. But Jimmy Eat World, when they come out with the album, do you remember they had to change it? It was called Bleed American,
Yeah.
right? And they had to change it because of 9/11, so there had to be the self-titled Jimmy Eat World. They had a song on there, right, called Authority Song. I was fucking obsessed with this song. Me and my pals were going to Newquay for the summer, so we went there and we were listening to in the van. And the Osbournes was big. We were playing CDs, so we had the soundtrack to the Osbourne TV series. We had fucking Jimmy Eat World, I think was at the time, and we were just listening to this, getting drunk in the back of a van, getting ready to pull birds. They were going surfing. I was looking forward to playing football. You know what I mean? Going to the clubs, going to the bars, and I was just obsessed with the album Bleed America. I think it had The Middle on it as well. The Middle is another great song, you know, with a video where they're like at a college party or something, like a house party. I just fucking love that. I still love Jimmy Eat World to this day.
Yeah.
Great band.
We got King Yeti in the chat. He says he saw Leonard Skinner play a 40-minute rendition of Freebird in Memphis on one stage while 3 6 Mafia performed the whole set on the next stage, tripping on his 15 hits of liquid LSD. Bro, that sounds like fire. That sounds like fire. Of course, my parents were big concert goers. My dad, he's got a whole list of all the guys that he went and saw. He saw them all, bro. Jimi Hendrix, he saw, you know, everybody. And he like went everywhere, saw everybody. The best one that I ever saw was Carlos Santana. I went to a concert. It was a very small, intimate concert. And Carlos Santana, and he had his band. And I literally sat like maybe 9 or 10 feet from where he played. And I was just sitting there at my little, we were standing at a cocktail table. Somebody got me tickets for my birthday, and we went, you know, to a very kind of private show. And bro, he ripped on it for about 2 hours, just the guitar. Oh, and I was just like double tequilas coming my way, bro. I was fucking lit, having a fucking great time, and that was a lot of fun. And I'll never forget that. That was probably the best concert experience I've had. Just because we were VIP right in the front, right with Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana is like one of my all-time favorites. Love everything that he does, pretty much all his music. Who can't argue with his guitar licks, bro? It was so much fun. But let me jump back in the chat and see what else we got. Carrie C says she's seen probably 1,500 concerts. Carrie, which ones are the top concerts that you've seen? People want to know. DJ John, that's Miami John to his friends, the people he's not running over with his car. He says Roger Waters. Let me scroll back up. I just missed it. Roger Waters' Dark Side of the Moon. Where'd it go? Tour. But Metallica End of the Millennium Show at the Pontiac Silverdome was also great. Yeah, I heard Metallica throws a fantastic show. We got.
Do you want to know someone you won't be seeing in concert anytime soon?
Who's that?
Kanye West.
Oh, we don't think he's going to do any concerts
in Europe? Nah, he's been
yeah.
banned from the He's been banned from the UK. He pulled out of France before he got banned.
Yeah,
and he's been banned from Poland. So that to me means he's gonna have an EU European ban. He ain't gonna be able to play over here ever again. I don't think, or not for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, $10 says he goes to Japan next. That's where I think he's gonna go. But we got Pizzle Sticks. I think that's her name, Pizzle Sticks. She says Elvis, Rolling Stones, and ZZ Top. Man, that is a trio. You saw Elvis? That's fantastic. And of course, Rolling Stones is fire. And I absolutely love
Master Elvis. He lives in the caravan park just down the road from me. You know what I mean? That's where he's been hiding all these years.
Yeah. I love me some ZZ Top, bro. LaGrange. And she's got legs. Pearl necklace, also great. Oh, Carrie C says Deep Purple. I heard Deep Purple was fantastic. Smoke on the Water. Aerosmith at the Giant Stadium was wild. King Yeti says same weekend you got swept into a sea with Dave Matthews Band fans from 5 stages over. The show of the weekend I didn't know I needed to see. Bro, was Dave Matthews the shit? A lot of people were all about Dave Matthews, and a lot of people hated Dave Matthews. Back in the day, I think, what was that, 2000 era-ish or whatever? Yeah, I liked Dave Matthews. I liked his vibe, bro, and women loved it. Yeah, you just play some Dave Matthews Band, and women were guaranteed to drop their panties. We got Hillbilly Harry. He says, the best show I've ever been to was a Lollapalooza with Beastie Boys and Smashing Pumpkins headlining in 92 or 93. Can't really remember. The breeders were really fun that day too. Yeah, I bet, bro. The mosh pit would have been fucking off the
Melancholy
chain.
and the Infinite Sadness is such a great album. It's like it's a shame how that all fell off, with like Darcy and James Ehar and all that, and like the drummer, was it Matt Chamberlain? Is it something Chamberlain? Jimmy Chamberlain, the
Yeah,
drummer, how they all fell apart, and then Billy Corgan just put it together. Then he gets all these random people now and calls it Smashing Pumpkins, but
yeah,
it's bollocks.
yeah.
Did you hear about this Dave geezer though? Have you
Which
heard about this musician called Dave? He
no.
spells it. He spells it like wrong. Something about some like allegedly murdered some girl or something.
Are you talking about the rapper and he like left her in
Yeah,
his
yeah, there's some black dude. Riley probably knows
yeah.
about it, right? I've only just picked up on this story the other day. I was like, he in the back of a trunk or something.
Yeah,
I don't
I
fucking
think
know.
that's pretty old. I think like they've had him for a
Yeah, like a
while.
year. She's been missing a year, isn't she?
Yeah.
But it's like he got arrested or something. I was
She-
like, what the fuck? I've never heard of this guy,
yeah.
and suddenly he's everywhere.
Yeah, she been in the trunk for a year, bro. Yeah.
I know, defrosted.
Yeah, defrost. Yeah, we got King Yeti. He says he saw Bob Dylan that weekend. How'd you like Bob Dylan, bro? I've never been a huge Bob Dylan fan, but
He isn't a big talker apparently.
yeah,
If you like, I've seen like he's very like he doesn't talk. I saw someone here died recently over here. I forget what his name was. Died yesterday or the day before, and they were going through his greatest hits. He was like a interviewer presenter, and he interviewed Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan was like, yeah. No,
well, there was that.
maybe.
There's that
Right.
one famous.
He was in the Travelling Wilburys, wasn't he?
Yeah.
With like George Harrison and fucking the guy from ELO, Jeff Lynne.
I loved ELO. Evil woman, she's an anyway. But that with Bob Dylan, that famous 60 Minutes interview with that black guy, I forget his name, but he said that's when he said, yeah, he made a deal with the devil, with the the sergeant or the general of this world and the world to come, and that's why he still has to tour to keep up his end of the bargain. That was crazy. Kelly Cat, she says, Yeti, that was one hell of a concert. Yeti, yes. We got Reverend Dale. She says, my uncle took me to a rock festival in Germany in the 90s to Soundgarden. Wow, I bet that was great. Soundgarden, yeah, those were great. Carrie C says Lollapalooza 1 and 2 were awesome. Bro, yeah, Lollapalooza was the shit back in the day. Let's see here.
My biggest regret is I had tickets to go and see the Deftones, but I was sick as a dog and missed it. That was like the one regret. I would have loved to have seen Deftones live. I used to like, when I was like school and college, right? I used to idolize Chino Moreno, and I used to like want to dress like him. Where he had the chinos on and the white kicks, and he had the chain, and he had I was obsessed with his style. He got fat, then he dropped off, but I was like proper obsessed with his style, man. He's always been like. He's always had it, he's got the aura.
Yeah.
Chino Moreno's got the aura.
Well, it's funny because I remember when that style came out. I remember when Nike dropped the first Cortezes, bro, and all of the Mexican guys started wearing those like crazy, and then they kept it. We got Leighton Gay. He says Woodstock 94 was off the chain. Yeah, I remember that one. I remember the news about that. I was a little too young to go to that, but yeah, that was fire. Let's see who else we got. Lollapalooza. Miami John says Lollapalooza 96 Metallica, Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine was great too. King Yeti says Bob Dylan was great actually. Well, that's good to hear. Dylan was a great live, says Schnauzer Max. Yeah. Well, maybe I just didn't enjoy his. Maybe if I was at the concert, I would have liked it, perhaps. Hillbilly Harry says Beastie Boys, Bad Brains is the loudest concert he's ever been to. Bro, I bet that was loud as hell, bro. What else?
Well, it was folk, wasn't he, Dylan? And then he picked up an electric guitar and pissed off all the folk people, didn't he? They done it like with the movie, didn't he? They were really pissed. He went and like started playing electric guitar. You know what I mean? But it's like I haven't watched the movie. I can't remember who's it. Is it Timothy Chalamet? Is he?
Yeah, I think that's
he
who
plays
it was.
Dylan, doesn't he?
Played Dylan. Did you see that movie?
No, I didn't watch it. I should really watch it. I watched the Elvis by every movie can't because I like Elvis. My dad's a big Elvis fan. I watch all the Elvis movies and they never get it right.
Yeah.
I think I watched the one. Did you see the one with Jacob Elordi?
Yeah.
They made Elvis out to be a predator.
Yeah.
It was just
weird.
Basically a movie saying Elvis is a predator.
Well,
and that's basically all what it was. And they had him playing against a girl that was really, really short, really small, looked very childlike. And like they were going on about how he like groomed her and she was like 14 or 13 or something. And they just made him out to be this drug-addled predator, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but it wasn't really an Elvis movie. It was just like a takedown of a legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when you start getting into those areas, it's hard because everybody has their own idea of what Elvis is, and he did marry Priscilla when she was like 13, bro. She was like,
Isn't that like Southern Rules though? Isn't it? You got what was it, Jerry Lee Lewis? Isn't it Great Balls of Fire? Isn't it like Southern Rules or something?
no. And a lot of rock and rollers do that too. They had a whole hotel up in L.A. where they would get a whole bunch of teenage girls for all the rock stars, and it was documented, bro. It was in all of the magazines back then at the time. You'd get these promoters that would pick up these teenage girls like from their parents' house and have them come to the hotel and spend the night. I mean, we're talking like 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, have them come to the hotel. It might have been Chateau Marmont in L.A., up in Hollywood. But yeah, it was the Marmont Hotel. And they would bring them there. And bro, it's documented. It's all over the magazines back then, if you go back and look. And I've seen some YouTubes about it. And they're all like, 13, 14, 15, 16. And they were like the groupies. And of course, that was wild. So, also Elvis, he was a little bit on drugs, a little bit, but quite a bit actually. Do
you want to know like the crazy story? Like the chat might be able to find this out because I can't remember the bird's name and I've got my devices at hand. But like Bill Wyman, who used to be in the Rolling Stones, right? My mum always tells me this story because it's her generation. He got into a relationship with a girl, I think there was about 13 or 14, 15.
Saying,
I can't remember which, right?
Yeah.
And what he did was, right, he used to pull up in his fancy car and pick her up after school. And the teachers did nothing, and her family did nothing. And I think she became like a real socialite with her sister at a really young age. She was going to all the bars and clubs, even though she was underage. Yeah. She looked older, but I can't remember what the girl's name was. But that was the real creepy one for me. How Bill Wyman would roll up to the school and pick her up. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? And no one said nothing or did nothing.
No one said nothing. And that's kind of what Hotel California is based upon. I think it's the Chateau Marmont, where you go in there, you get all the whatever you want, but it traps you in there. And then it twists your vision of what the world is when you come out. Of course, anybody in the chat wants to chime in on that and talk about what their own thoughts are or whatever is on that. More than welcome to. But yeah, it's crazy. Then you got you had all the Eagles. What was that? The singer of the Eagles. He was renowned for he was with an underage girl. So it was everywhere, man. It was everywhere. It's always.
I mean, my mum, right? My mum entered the workforce at 15, right? And she was like a clerical secretary, you know what I mean? She did typing school and she was like a clerical secretary, right? And she said she was always like, there was all the older men around and they were like, oh, could you type this up for me? I need it. Could you type that up, right? And she said, like, when she was at the water cooler and, you used to get accosted at the water cooler, right? She'd be like 15 years old and there'd be men in their 40s trying to chat her up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before my dad came along, and there was no taboo there. It was just like you had a 40-year-old geezer that could have been married with 2 kids was like coming on to my 15-year-old mother, you know what I mean? Before she 15-year-old mother, before she met my dad, because she met my dad in her early 20s and that was it, it was over after that. If anyone looked wrong on my mother, my dad would fucking kill him. Yeah. But like, it was like, fucking, can you imagine it? My 15-year-old mother, she's just left school and got into the workplace and grandpa's chatting her up at the water cooler.
100%, bro. 100%. And that was going on, and it goes on more and more, even to this day. I mean, I've been, you see it, you see how sexualized kids get. You know what I mean? Like with the music now, you see all these videos of kids going viral, and
they're desperate to be OnlyFans models straight out of school.
Yeah,
that's the ambition now, to be an OnlyFans or a cam girl.
And their parents are fine with it. Their parents are fine with them twerking. Their parents are fine with them dancing like that. Their parents are fine with them wearing these crazy clothes. It used to be like when you were back in the day, if you were a girl, you had to put on a different set of clothes over your slut clothes so you could sneak out so your dad or your mom didn't stop you and ground you. But now it's like the parents are going out buying them the slut clothes, saying, "Oh, don't you look great? Don't you look cute?" So yeah.
Did you see the latest video on Kick with Clavicular?
No, what's going on here?
I don't know whether this was. I don't know whether this was before he OD'd allegedly or didn't OD allegedly, whatever. He's out in the club, right?
Oh yeah.
And he pulls this old girl. And she's like 40 or 50 or something, and she's straight on it, the old girl, right?
Yeah.
And the daughter's absolutely mortified.
Yeah.
She's like trying to drag her mum away. She goes, "I don't want my mum near you. Get my mum away." And then at the other side, right, the fucking the brother is cheering it on. Yeah. He's cheering on the mother fucking getting macked on by fucking Clavicular. I'm like, these families are warped, bruv. They're warped.
I did see that. So what happened? And let me translate for the people who maybe didn't catch all those, but all those words. Yeah. Clavicular went, he's that guy who's a industry plant, who's, whatever, he's everywhere. but he went to the club after he overdosed the day before. All of a sudden, he's back at the club. Whatever, bro. Whatever. And so he starts kissing this older lady. She's in her 40s or 50s. I don't know. He starts like tongue kissing her, bro. And then her daughter comes up, who's like 21 or whatever, and she absolutely has a meltdown. And the brother's there. I'm like, bro, who goes to the club with their family, man? Did you ever go to the club with your mom and your sibling if you had one? Hell no.
No fucking way.
It's fucking weird.
Fucking, I'd die of embarrassment. I saw it, though. I've been there. I went to like, I think the thing is, right, you know, when you've got like a mother who's still hot, who's still got it, you know, she's as fit as a butcher's dog, she's in shape, she's desirable, she still wants to be in the game. And you've got the fucking hot daughter as well. And there's that competition, isn't there? The mother's like divorced, she's sexually liberated, so she goes out clubbing with her daughter, and there's like that competition in it, you know. She still thinks she's the young daughter, they kind of look the same, and she's always like, oh, we could be sisters, and they're wearing the same clothes. And then you've got the poor bloody brother who's just hanging around like a wet lettuce. You know what I mean? He's just like, please drop me out, I'd rather be anywhere than here to see my mother and my sister competing for the same fellas.
Yeah.
But I've seen it, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we got Coachella going on right now in Southern California.
Old Madonna, isn't it? Did you see it?
Oh
The old bag was on stage
bro.
with Sabrina Carpenter. I mean,
chat. Did you
I
guys?
still fit in this corset from 50 years ago. I still fit in this leather jacket.
Yeah.
Shut up, Grandma.
Did you
Get
guys
off the
see
stage.
that Madonna was up there singing with fucking Sabrina Carpenter? How old is Madonna? Like 70 something.
She's got to be, ain't she? She had the fishnets on, didn't she? Her face was paralyzed with fear.
Throw that fish
moving,
back.
like,
Throw that fish back, bro. Yeah. She looked like she's ready to suck a few dicks.
She's releasing Confessions of a Dance Floor Part 2. I'm like, oh, shut up.
Nobody cares, man. Get the fuck off the stage. That's what I got to say about that. But, we're talking about concerts. In Coachella, it's in Indio, California. It's basically in the desert. If you guys have never been there, it's right next to Palm Springs. And Coachella, was originally started because concerts were too expensive and people could just go out in the desert. I remember back when it was my window to go there, the tickets were about $300 to go, and you had to get them like 6 months or a year in advance. Otherwise, they'd be sold out. But now it's so expensive that some tickets are going for like $20,000, $30,000. It's become overrun with scammers. Like the food there is insane. Like I saw pieces of pizza were like $40. James, could you imagine getting a piece of pizza for $40? I'd be like, where's the rest of my pizza?
I'm stealing it for that, mate. If I'm eating it, I'm stealing it, mate. I ain't paying $40.
Where's the rest of my pizza? You got beers for like $20, of course there's all kinds of other scams going on.
Is it a bit hipsterish though? I see that it's like, is it a place where everyone who's famous wants to be seen at? It seems to be like, from the outside looking in, Coachella seems like the hipster place. It's a bit like Glastonbury. It's where all the hipsters want to be. It's the big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's very hipster now. It's very influencer. I saw Katy Perry that was there with her new boyfriend, Trudeau.
Isn't her world falling apart though? Isn't she like some kind of like? Did she have something with Ruby Rose? She touched her when she.
Oh yeah, I heard she rubbed her taco on her face when Ruby Rose was asleep. Yeah, I heard Katy Perry's getting sued by Ruby Rose because she rubbed her pussy right in her face, bro. When she was asleep, the girl was asleep, and Katy Perry came up, straddled her, and like rubbed it all. Bro, I don't know. Think about what that was all about. That was fucking wild. But you had Katy Perry down there with Justin Trudeau. I don't know how old Justin Trudeau is. He's like, I thought he was gay. I still think he's gay, but he was down there with Katy.
He had his cap on back to front, didn't he? I was like, you drip.
Yeah,
mate.
He's so fake,
hello, young kids. Look at me.
Yeah, he's basically the meme. Hello, fellow kids. Yeah, facts, bro. Fuck that guy. So Coachella is basically a rich versus poor experience. It's starting to look a lot like Burning Man from that point of view. You got all the rich people that get these beautiful houses. And if you guys don't know, they have this whole influencer situation going on where okay, let me just say this. When you're famous, like you're Hollywood famous, when you go to these award shows, when you go to these festivals, they have entire rooms where you can walk in and grab free stuff. And the free stuff, it could be like Nike shoes, it could be like a Rolex watch, it could be whatever. Like it's just a brand that wants you to wear what they're giving you so that they can hopefully get a picture of you wearing it at the concert or whatever. And so they have this going on for influencers at Coachella. And so they can walk in, they get free clothes, they get free food, they get free shoes, they get free, I even saw they had pots and pans. I don't know what the fuck they had that for, but it's a whole big gimmick now. It's all fake. It's not even what it used to be. And then if you want to go and you want to camp there, and on the grounds, it's very expensive. You got to have a tent. It's terrible. I saw that people were waiting in line to use the bathroom like an hour, waiting in line to use the shower like 2 or 3 hours. A lot of people aren't taking showers. It stinks. It's terrible. The whole experience has gone to shit. James, do influencers ruin everything? That's my question to you. What are your thoughts?
I think so. They come into a genre, don't they? They come into a space, and of course they ruin everything. You got to see, like, if you only watch Kick. If you watch Kick, it's all Ed Matthews, it's all HS Tiki Toki, it's all Bevo, it's all Clavicular, it's all these people. They're just like doing in real life stuff. They're all doing the same thing. And what did I say to you, right? They must have the same agent because they all start hanging out with each other, don't they?
Exactly.
Baby Alien pops off. Suddenly, Baby Alien's with Clavicular. Rampage Jackson is with everyone. You got Neo popping up. You got Aidan Ross. You got Ed Matthews. You got HS Bevo. They all know each other, don't they? Jim Skin's everywhere now. You know what I mean? And they all get together and they all meet up. They all do the content. They all like swap around stories and all that. And it's kind of like, when it like muddies the water and kind of ruins it, doesn't it? What seemed like hip, what seemed cool, which seemed unique, suddenly becomes a bit passe and a bit blasé, doesn't it? And it kind of like, you can see it burning this short span. How long has Clavicular got, you reckon? 5 years? Two and a half? 3?
Oh, you mean alive or famous? I say probably one more year for fame. I don't know what he's going to do after this. But, it reminds me a lot of like when reality TV first came on and everybody had the idea for reality TV. And at first it was very interesting because it was real. It seemed like it was real. Like I remember there was Survivor was real. I remember what they had that one on MTV. I forget what The Real World, I think is what it was called. Then they had some other shows, but then people started to understand that they could, if they scripted it and they created this fake drama, they could get more views, and that lasted until the audience started to recognize, hey, wait a minute, this is all fake. Fuck this shit. This shit is stupid. That's kind of what this in influencer space feels like. It feels like we're in that transition between when YouTube used to be real, authentic, small people that would make their own content and have real artistry in it, to now it's kind of like transitioning to like this big machine that's trying to game the system and get views over fake drama, fake overdoses, fake punches, fake this, fake that. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Do you remember when they had I don't know if you probably have it over there. Maybe you invented it. I don't know. Do you remember the TV series Big Brother?
Yeah.
Like the Americans, maybe you did, right? Well, when we had Big Brother in the 90s, it was labeled as the social experiment, right? And everyone who entered it, right, they came from all walks of life. They were normal people with jobs, right? There was no such thing as social media, really. There was no such thing as influencers. They weren't wised up or clued up. These people were just normal people. Some of them worked in a coffee shop. Someone worked in a bank. They were just normal run-of-the-mill people. And they went in there, right, and they didn't have any idea about it. They were new. They were fresh. They just played the game as it was. But as the series progressed, and people changed, they knew everything about the show. They knew how to game the system. They knew the nuance. It became scripted. It became more about not having people from like 18 to 80. It came about having people 18 to 30. It became about relationships. It became about people shouting and screaming at each other. Tension. You know what I mean? It was more like a dating show than a reality TV show about like doing games and like experiencing different walks of life and adapting and changing. And that's what I think happened to reality TV. Reality TV got diluted. And I think the online world, like streaming and in real life streaming, is becoming diluted as well, because you're getting more and more people that are doing the same thing and they're getting less out of it. You know what I mean? The returns are getting slimmer and smaller. And you know what I mean? Everyone's falling off, and then everyone complains. They do streaming about complaining about falling off and hating on the people. If you look at a guy called Bevo on Kick, right? Bevo used to be really big, and he used to do an eating thing. It used to be about, look, I can deep throat this, I can eat that, right? And he became very big, and he was pals with Ed Matty, and he was pals with HS, and then he fell off. So to stay relevant, he tried to get his mum into OnlyFans, right? So he started doing OnlyFans with his mother, right, and getting her to do all this OnlyFans shit, and then he fell out with the mother. So now his streams are just, I'm hating on Jim Skin because Jim Skin comes from my area and he's the next big thing. So I'm just gonna hate on Jim Skin because I know I'm gonna get that audience. I'm gonna get Jim Skin's audience coming onto my stream and giving me shit because I'm hating on the most popular IRL streamer in the country.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the spiral. You start out with authenticity. It attracts a little bit of attention. The attention attracts people who want to game it for money. As soon as they start gaming it for money, then the attention goes away because it becomes stale, predictable, and boring. When that happens, then they start criticizing everything and try to capitalize on that audience. So we're definitely seeing that kind of spiral. I was gonna. You mentioned Big Brother, and I think Big Brother was around first in England. But the last real thing, James, that I saw in Big Brother, there was something that really was real. It was so loud it pierced every environment. And do you remember what that was? I'm gonna tell you what it was right here. It was when Mickey Rourke was on Big Brother. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And Mickey Rourke was on Big Brother, and so was JoJo Siwa. And if you remember, Mickey Rourke said to JoJo Siwa, "Why don't you quit being a fucking lesbian and just go find a man and marry him?"
I think he dropped the F, didn't he? He dropped a few Fs, didn't he?
Yeah, he dropped the fag moniker. And it was so real though that everybody made such a big tizzy about it. They immediately got rid of Mickey Rourke off the show. That's how you know it's a fake fucking show. They should have kept him on and had more drama around that, but they didn't want that. So they kicked his ass off the show, the only real motherfucker on there. And then guess what? When JoJo Siwa left the show, she actually fell in love with a guy on the show, and then she became a heterosexual person in a relationship with a man, and she's never been happier. That's some real deal shit right there. That's what reality TV should be about, that kind of shit. What are your thoughts?
I can't remember what his name was. I think it's Chris something, and he was on a show called Love Island. And on that show on Love Island, he fell in love, open brackets, close brackets, right, with Olivia Atwood.
Yeah.
And Olivia Atwood, that went to shit. And Olivia Atwood married Bradley Dack. And I've done many videos about this. Remember we talked about it. Can you have a male best friend who is good looking, eligible, single, that you're also working with on a podcast? And what happened was Olivia Atwood left Bradley Dack, and within a month, she was in a relationship with Pete Wicks. Remember the geezer I showed you? He's got all the long curly hair, all the tattoos. He looks the part. He looks the business. He's an eligible bachelor. He's a Romeo Lothario. He's always wanted Olivia Atwood. He's made no bones about it. She was single less than a month, and he was straight in there like a rat up a drain pipe.
Yeah.
So can you let your wife or girlfriend have that kind of male best friend that she works with and socializes with without you?
No, you can't. It's retarded. I even go a step further and say you got to be very careful when you have your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, letting her go out on these parties by themselves. Because the thing is like of course she doesn't want to cheat, but women are very emotional, and of course you get a couple of substances in them, then they're having a great time. They become more open to things that they would have had a stronger constitution about before, and before you know it, they're fucking on their knees sucking a dick in a male strip club, bro. I'm not saying that ever happened to me.
Don't let them go to those hen parties. I've seen those porn videos. Don't let them go to the hen parties.
That's right. But yeah, King Yeti said Mickey called it, bro. Mickey Rourke fucking nailed that to the T, and I think that's the reason they got rid of him, is because he was really speaking truth. And I think that same line that Mickey Rourke said could be applied to a lot of other lesbians, and they'd find happiness in a normal.
Do you know he really struggled in that show?
Yeah,
he really struggled in that show. He wasn't like washing properly. You know what I mean? He's very eccentric. He's had a hard life. He's kind of like, he's no longer that heartthrob busy.
No.
And I suppose that, you know what I mean? And he's eccentric in the way he acts and the way he dresses. And everyone talks about like being open, right? And embracing people's differences and, everyone, getting on together, right? And they completely bullied him. I'm using the word bullied. Not, you know what I mean? They completely bullied him and alienated him because he was an old school man with old school opinions. And all they did throughout the entire show was lecture him about how, oh, you're a dinosaur. Your views don't belong anymore. You're a racist. You're a homophobic. You're a sexist. And they beat that into him. hour after hour, day after day, making this geezer feel like shit that he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? And it's like they were like mugging him off for being like a has been and that. And I'm like, yeah, but all you people in there have never achieved the level of fame that Mickey Rourke had in the
Facts. Yeah.
80s. In the 80s, he was the fucking man. Not only was he in the best films, he was the best looking. Everyone was talking about him. They never had that level of fame. And in there, they made him feel like absolute fucking shit, man. They were
Yeah.
just on him everything he said, right, they picked up on. He couldn't say anything to the point then he just isolated himself and didn't speak.
Well,
You know what
also,
I mean?
yeah,
And
also,
he was the most, like you said, he was the most interesting thing in
yeah,
the show.
that's the interesting thing in the show. Also, his comeback movie, The Wrestler, was tremendous. It was a fantastic movie. He did it for free. He got to be with Marissa Tomei, which is
Marvin Sin City was good.
yeah, which is worth it. Worth it. Marissa Tomei is a fucking dime piece, bro. Even till this day, let's fucking go, Marissa Tomei. But no, and also, he was the only real motherfucker on there because he only had to say one thing, and he changed that girl's life for the rest of her life. He actually gave her the idea that she could be happy, and she went and she explored it. We got Carrie C in the chat. She said JoJo's mother was pissed, and see, that's what happens is you get these other people who are tyrannical that want your life to go a certain way. No, we want you to be gay because I don't know, it checks more boxes, you're more accepted by Hollywood. But what about her happiness? What about your own daughter's long-term happiness? What about her chance to have children, bro? What about that? They don't give a fuck. But Mickey Rourke, old school man who they all isolate, don't want to talk about, he gives a fuck. He gives her some honest words. It changes her life. You know what I'm saying, James?
Yeah, and the funny thing about old JoJo, one of the funniest things she did in that series, she pissed in a litter box.
Oh,
Squatted and pissed in a litter box.
that's weird.
It's like fucking, but Mickey Rourke, it's like my dad, right? It'd be like putting my dad in there and saying to my dad, all the values that you've lived by your entire life doesn't matter, are irrelevant. You shouldn't be saying them anymore. This is a new world. You can't change it.
Right.
These are old school
Nor
men
should
with
you
old
change
school
it.
values.
You shouldn't change
They
it.
lived in a different world in a different time, a time when a man had to be a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There isn't like, you couldn't have been a soft guy back when my dad was young or Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
They come from a really hard time, probably come from a really hard background, probably like immigrants. Mickey Rourke, he was probably his family come from a family of immigrants or something. You know what I mean? Probably didn't have a lot of money growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and he really struggled and really wanted to be an actor. If you find his story, he really wanted it and he fought to get it. And then he lost it, and then all the boxing and the surgery. I mean, this is a man that's had a lot of scars and a hard life,
Yeah.
and they couldn't show the tiniest bit of decency to this man, cut him the tiniest bit of slack. They were on him 24/7.
Yeah.
It was fucking grim to watch, mate. It got on my nerves.
Well, no, it goes with that saying that hard times make for hard men, and easy times make for easy men. And then the problem is that we've had such a long time of easy times. We got all these pussies out here, pussy men out here, and when they come against a hard man, they try to socially pressure him. But the hard man's not going to change, bro. The hard man's been through some shit. He's not going to cave because a couple of people call him names or say they don't like him or say don't invite him to the table. He don't give a fuck.
No, he didn't give a shit.
He don't give a fuck. That's what these people don't understand. And that's why they'll always be broken, because it only takes one phrase from the hard man to change somebody's life. And these soft motherfuckers ain't ever going to change nobody's life. They're a bunch of fucking pussies. They're the kind of guys that would let their grandmother die in a nursing home all by herself because COVID told them to. I'll be like, motherfucker, no, that's not going to happen. I'm yanking my grandmother out of that nursing home. She's coming and she's going to live with me. I don't give a fuck. Even if my old lady says no, I'll be like, yo, this is my grandma. This is my blood. She coming. She's staying here. We're going to take care of her. That's how it is. It'd be the same thing if it was your grandma. What are your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about that show that really got me, right, he was getting up early every day, right, and he was working out. And he was in shape, mate. Even though he's old now, he's still in decent shape, decent nick, and he had the discipline. Get up, work out, because it's like being in prison kind of thing, isn't it? You spend 24 hours doing fuck all. So he treated it like he was in prison. He got up, he ate, working out, done whatever tasks they had to do. Ate in the evening, done a second workout, went to bed. That's how he was treating it. And there was fucking kids there that were like half his age, and they were all flabby and lazy and weren't doing anything. Mickey was disciplined, man. He still had that old school discipline.
Yeah, well, it's a lot like you said earlier about the creators. You know, that if they can't create, then they start just being detractors. They start like trying to be parasites, and they start trying to criticize things and tear
Pull
it
people
down.
down. They want to pull everyone down, don't
Yeah,
they?
but they don't have the discipline to create a schedule and to start to produce. Like, Mickey Rourke getting up, going and working out. He's producing, he's improving, he's evolving every day. That's the sign of a strong mind, of a strong man. King Yeti says he was a great boxer, 100%. King Yeti also says, listen, man, I've been kicked out of nicer meth labs than this, is what he thinks when he's not, he's somewhere that he's not wanted. So I agree. It's like, bro, fuck this shit. I've been kicked out of nicer meth labs than this. I know I'm not wanted here. I'm out of here. That's kind of my attitude too. James, your thoughts on that?
But they didn't pay him, did they, as well, right? He was the most entertaining thing in the show. He was the most controversial thing in the show because people made him controversial. He wasn't controversial, but he was always involved in the controversial situations because people couldn't accept that this man had a different way of life, a different opinion, different aspects. And then when they kicked him out, they were like, "You don't get any of your money."
Yeah, fuck that. It's so fucked up, bro. And we're starting to see that larger and larger. The real men in this world are the ones who produce. They're the farmers, okay? The fucking bitch ass people are the ones who don't produce. They're passing all of these green laws. They're putting all these restrictions on the farmers and all this kind of stuff. And they're expecting the world to change in a fantasy way just because the World Economic Forum says it or whatever. Right now, if you guys don't know, there's huge protests going on over in Ireland and in other parts of the world, in South Africa even. They're trying to shut down farmers. Ireland's close to you, James. What are your thoughts on what's going on in Ireland right now with the trucker shutdown, the farmer protests, and all of that?
I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely abysmal. I've done 3 or 4 videos on it. I think everyone who's Irish, who's got any Irish blood, should look into it and should support their motherland, their homeland, where they come from, because these are hard-working, working-class white Irish people that have been completely abandoned by their government. If you look at the Taoiseach, Micheál Martin, he's called them right-wing thugs. He said the protests were unacceptable. He sent in the Gardaí to break it up. That's the police. He was threatening to send in the army. You had one of these senators, she's a gypsy, and she said that she could never support or go to a protest because of the Irish tricolour was being displayed in Ireland, and she said that's a racist flag and she doesn't want to be part of any far right protests. These are just people that are trying to having to choose between heating and eating. They run businesses, they run farms, they run haulage companies. You know what I mean? It's becoming unbearable for them. They can't survive, and the government weren't doing anything, and they basically just tarred them with one brush. They said, look, it's okay if you're pro-Palestine, you want to do a pro-Palestine protest. It's okay if you want to do a pro-Iranian regime protest. It's okay if you want to do a pro-immigration or illegal immigration protest. You can do that in Ireland, modern Ireland, because modern Ireland is part of the EU. It's inclusive. We want all migrants to come to this country. But if you are an indigenous Irish person, an old school Irish person, effectively a white Irish person, your protest will be demonized. It will be treated with a heavy hand. The Gardaí and the army will potentially come in, and they will squash this protest, and they will just tar you with this brush that you are right wing, and all your opinions should be null and void, and they will just carry on and not help these people, which is funny because the people that are in government grew up with these people. They know these people. They know their plight. They know their struggle. They know this from when they were in conflict with us, the British. But they seem to have completely abandoned them for this European project, this Brussels project. That's what I think of it. It's outrageous.
No, it is outrageous. Welcome, Riley, to the stream. How you doing, Riley? Hoping you're having a good Saturday today. What are you up to today?
Good morning. Just learning all about Irish farmers.
Yeah,
from
bro.
You and James, I suppose.
There's some crazy shit going on. Also in South Africa, they're chanting "kill white people." They're taking back the Boer farmers. Trying to take the land back from them. If you know anything about what's happened in Africa, they tried that before in Zimbabwe and in 1 or 2 other countries, and the whole country starved to death. And then after 5 years, they begged the white farmers to come back to try to give them their farmland back. And I'm not saying that one group is better at farming than the next, but You have to keep the infrastructure
Well, the
going.
group that's been doing it for 200 years, they're better at it.
Yeah, facts. And the other thing that's very interesting is that there's all these protests for indigenous people when they're not white, but when they are white, we need to tell them to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got to get these white people out of here.
Yeah.
They're ruining all of our civilizations. Look, they ruined all the boats, right? Like white people totally ruined boats.
Yeah.
They ruined civilization and society. They insisted on family homes. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
We can't have like a small family unit living on its own and producing towards a collective. That would be bad for us. What we need is hovels.
Yeah,
as many hovels as possible.
We need dirt floors, and also I don't know if you've seen that new trend, Riley, about coming out of Africa, about these different people proud that they eat with their fingers, like from Uganda and from
yeah, white people they're wasting all that money on plastics.
Yeah, on silverware and utensils, and yeah,
How lovely bananas and rice.
that's what it is, the whole bananas and rice thing. And they make that whatever that starch is, it's like a dough ball, and they twist it off with their fingers and then rub it in the community plate, mind you. It's a community plate that everybody eats. And all of a sudden, they're trying to glorify that. That's wild, James. What would you eat like that?
Well, you remember back in the day during Robert Mugabe's regime.
No, I don't.
His great idea was to get rid of all the white farmers. So he basically just sent in a load of black people with machetes and pitchforks, and they basically killed the white farmers. They slaughtered all the animals, and then they burned down the farm, and then they had a little dance around the fire. And then the next day, they're like, "Well, what the fuck do we do now?" That's basically it. That was like the mentality of Robert Mugabe and his regime.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you saw at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe went from being the breadbasket of Africa,
Yes.
the richest country, to being like where inflation was through the roof, and these people got nothing to eat. Because,
originally, wasn't it Rhodesia? Originally, when the Boers kind of ran it, then they switched it to Zimbabwe. Then they had this whole like counter apartheid thing, which meant they're all going to be poor and hungry, which was crazy.
See, this was the thing. Robert Mugabe was educated in England. We've got to stop educating them in England and giving them all these ideas, because when they go back, they fuck their country up.
Yeah, bro, it's fucking wild. And they got the big thing going on in Ireland and in England. I saw it was going to come to England, James.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's Sir Keir Starmer again. We can't get rid of this fucking guy. You know what I mean? He's up to all kinds of shenanigans, but we can't get rid of him. And he wants to realign with the EU. So when we realign with the EU, the farmers who were extricated from the European Union were going about doing their own thing. They were using different pesticides. They were managing their farm differently. They were managing their animals, agriculture, their feed differently. But the thing is, now we're going to have to realign with EU laws and rules. That all goes out the window. So the profits that they were making, the farmers, that's going to be null and void, and they're going to go back to being in line with every other country in the EU. So that's your government for you. Once you're out, and then you get dragged back in.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Bro, it is a nightmare. Riley, earlier we were talking about Coachella, and James made a comment that I thought if you came on, we would definitely discuss. We were talking about, he said Ye's probably never going to have a concert in Europe for the foreseeable future. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's looking like that might not be an option for him for a while. He obviously was going to get banned from France, so he got ahead of it, and then Poland hit him. So,
where's all this coming from? I mean, is it just because I remember in England they wanted to have him there. He was going to be at the concert. Then the Jewish World Order, kind of the rabbi, stood up and said, "Not on my watch." Is it the same thing in Poland? The same thing in France?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the idea is they don't want to set a standard that you can say all that stuff, apologize, and still be the world's most successful artist. They don't want that to be out there.
Can they stop?
They need
him?
to make sure that's not out there. Actually,
Jeez, can they bigger than Dave?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Can they stop him? I don't think they can stop him. I think he's already probably the most successful. Where does he go now, Riley? Does he go to Japan? Does he go to South America? Where do you think he goes next?
Asia. Yeah, South America, the Asian continent. Like that's where he's going to spend his time. Because Spanish and Asian people don't really care that much.
Well, also Argentina. I mean, they're a big stronghold for that kind of Hallelujah song, the Heil Hitler song. So I
When
think,
he adopted his KKK outfit, they call it. It's actually Spanish festival garb that he's wearing from Spain. Like he went to Spain and he was like participating in these really colorful like Grand Wizard outfits that he was wearing, like green and red ones. And they just like he likes the design. He thinks they look cool.
well, yeah.
And then he made an all black one and everyone's like KKK.
No, they had an all black one over in Spain too. They're part of a Catholic. It's a mysticism a sect of Catholicism, and they have sacred rite processions that are these big. They have these big. We'll go see the parade. They're huge parades through the town square and everything, and they're carrying all of these like relics that are golden relics, and they're all in these garbs like that, and they predate the KKK by quite a long time.
Of course, yeah.
By quite a long time. They have nothing. It really doesn't have anything to do with the KKK.
He's getting out his memorabilia now. Look, here we go.
Yeah,
We're all
I was
going
gonna say
down, lads.
one of Ye's outfits is this the all day hoodie, or the love hoodie he calls it, because this is what Cassie was wearing in the video at the hotel when Diddy was beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
He was wearing this, so he resold it as the love hoodie.
That makes sense, yeah.
And it's a symbol for the Mother Mary, though. It's an ancient Catholic symbol.
Yeah, and a lot of that.
And I think Ye will just lean into that. He'll lean into Catholicism and Spanish people, and then he'll take advantage of the language barrier there. Like, people in Asia just like music; they're not thinking about what he has to say very much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 100%. Shout out to Mr. Jiki. He's driving to Denver right now. He's going to go to a comedy show. What comedy show are you going to listen to? Throw it in the chat, Jiki. Hope you have a good time. Safe travels. No, but the thing is like, bro, I remember the first time I went over to Asia. Okay, I saw swastikas everywhere. They're in all the temples. They're in the architecture, and I was kind of surprised by that. And then I learned they're actually
it's good luck in it.
They're Buddhist.
It's good luck or something.
Yeah,
good luck symbol. So
it's a Buddhist holy symbol that predates it's like 6,000 or 7,000 years ago. And I kind of wonder, why did we allow that to get preempted, and now it's banned everywhere, like along with other
Isn't that
symbology.
crazy?
Yeah,
like, that was social engineering on Hitler's side. He decided to take something that represented peace and use it negatively. It would be like if we associated the peace the peace out, bro, with the KKK because they did it all the time or something.
Yeah,
like, it'd be totally retarded, and it's just a bunch of retard sheep falling for the new download of the message. Like, oh, you can't use that symbol. It now means a bad thing.
yeah.
I don't know. It's right angles. So I've always been like a reductive person about the swastika. I am also from, I'm from Arkansas, but I grew up in northern Nevada. There's a large Basque population.
Yeah.
So I have friends with swastika tattoos because it doesn't mean that to them.
Yeah.
They're Basque.
And of course,
Ebi could probably
that's
talk
what
about
I was
that
going to say. Of
sometime.
course, Ebi, and he's the cartoon we used for the thumbnail. Ebi's our guy. He's Basque as well. But the swastika, I think what it really means is like it's the right angle about how electrons rotate and create an electromagnetic field, and that's supposedly the healing field for everything organic, for everybody who has a carbon-based life form. But even like Jonas Sweet, he just said the black sun, bro. That's a fucking fire symbol that's got preempted. With the whole white power and all of that kind of stuff, and that was around way before any of this took off. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's insane that people allow other people to co-opt movements, ideas, symbols, etc., and then flip them and use them in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't know why people abide it. I'm big on rejecting people's frames. So if you give me a frame that I just don't think is true, I'll just disregard that. And I think that's the way I've always viewed freaking out over symbols, because symbols only have the power you give them. To use myself here a little indulgently, I put bunny stickers on a window once.
Yeah.
And you would think they were swastikas.
Yeah.
The emotional impact that they had, you would think that I had done a hate crime of some kind, because people will put all of their negative emotions into that symbol if you tell them to, and they can associate anything negatively with themselves. And I think that's what it is. You tell enough people that this set of right angles is anti-Jewish and anti-black people and anti-gay. Everybody that got sent onto the trains, you say this symbol represents hating all of you. And it's very easy for one side to go, okay, I love hating all of you. And the other side is to say, well, then get rid of that symbol forever. In reality, the symbol has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. It's a lot like what we were talking about, the microcosm of Mickey Rourke at Big Brother. This is the macrocosm, the same exact thing, trying to social pressure people to behave a certain way. We got Julian, a real man out there, the big bruv. He's out there dirt biking around. He says, "What's up, everybody?" He's looking at dead trees. He's the lumberjack that's up there in northern Canada, cutting down those big trees.
Vito's biggest fan.
Yeah, he was Vito's biggest supporter. We'll go ahead and clarify that, one of Vito's biggest supporters. So shout out to you, Julian. But no, Riley, I completely agree with you on that. And to that end, James, what are women supposed to do? Are we supposed to reject that? Riley made a really good point about rejecting the frame of other people. How do you choose whose frame to embrace and whose frame to reject, James? What are your thoughts?
I don't really care about what other people think. I told you, I just kind of like doing what I want to do. If I get up and feel a certain way, then I feel a certain way. If I feel a certain way about something, I usually open my mouth and say it. It's like the problem in this country is they want to suppress speech. So say if you're like, it's okay if you have opinions that are centre left or left wing, you can go on any platform in this country and have your say for as long as you want to, and no one will have a problem with it, no one will question it. It's just a given that is the standard. But if you're someone that say is like centre right or right wing, you will be mocked, you will be challenged, you will be questioned, you will be threatened with being taken off social media, you'll be threatened with imprisonment. So there is like preferred speech and acceptable speech, and then there's speech that you can't have, which would be probably what I say on social media or what I say in real life or how I carry myself. So that's the kind of country we've got. I think it's probably different for different countries in Europe. I think Hungary are going to go through a change now. They're probably going to go. Hungary are going to go from being what would be considered by modern standard to be far right under Orban. They're probably going to go to more centre left under Magyar, because the thing is how you do it. This is how you do it, right? Hungary broke all the rules. They were against mass immigration. They didn't allow illegal immigrants to come into their country. So what the EU would do, they would penalise them. Fines, penalties. They wouldn't be able to apply for loans. They wouldn't be able to apply for grants. They wouldn't be able to opt into programs. They kept punishing them until the electorate got so beat down that they vote for the other guy. So they get a little respite and they get a little breathing room. But then it realigns where Hungary are. So Hungary were like the last bastion of Europe that were kind of like centre right, far right. And you will see a realignment of that country. They are now deemed to be acceptable. They can come back into the club because they now have an acceptable guy, an acceptable speech. That's how like a cabal, a mafia like the EU works. Yeah. And that's why we should try and reject it. And the fact that Keir Starmer wants to take us back in, having lost the vote, he wants to take us back in without having a vote or having to pass rules in Parliament. We just realign. Shows you the type of thinking that these people that run our countries have.
Yeah, Riley, that's a really good point. How do you determine whose frame that you fit into or you reject?
Well, if we're talking microcosms and macrocosms today, I've always rejected frames. I mean, it's also, maybe it's not political, but there's the economic parts of politics. Like, so my dad's a conservative guy, so I'm not like a simp for women. I'm not like a simp for black people or for gays or whatever. I wasn't, growing up and going through school, I was always having to reject the frame that I am already wrong about things and should say less, because I wasn't extra sensitive to these groups that were starting to be protected as I was growing up in like a totally different way. Like I'm a bit younger than you guys at 27. So I grew up inside of this cocoon of like, well, wait, what do you mean I can't say this girl's wrong about something because she's a girl? Like, she's wrong though. Yeah. And it's like, well, you have to handle it differently. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. I can't just say this person's wrong. Yeah. It's like, no, she's weaker than you or this or that. And it's this sort of like their frame is even that I have to be nicer to people that are weaker than me because women are weaker than me or gays or blacks or whatever. And then the whole time for me, I think none of that's true though. They're not weaker than me. I can talk to them like they're people. And so growing up, luckily, I was able to sort of reject that frame because I see how so many people my age become, Hassan viewers or something. Yeah. The Zoomers are fucking totally broken. They're on one side or the other, and it's because they've had to, I think, accept this frame or reject it entirely, or not reject it. They're accepting it, but in opposition to it.
Yeah.
which is still accepting the frame. Like, you're a sexist and racist, and they go, okay, I am a sexist racist. I hate minorities and women. Like, that's the other way that they could take this growing up. And the only way to not be either one is to reject that frame.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll reject frames of anyone who seems to have a motive for me to buy into what they're saying or not. I follow, my elite billionaire that I stan is Ye, because he doesn't seem to try very hard to garner followers.
Yeah.
He's not like leading a mandate. He's not telling you, he doesn't do the Andrew Tate thing of telling you like how to feel this month.
Yeah.
Clavicular recently disavowed his right-wing collaborators, and he's not going to be making edgy right-wing jokes anymore.
Yeah, what's that all about? That's the whole reason he got famous, dog. Come on.
Right, and he got famous as a counter to all the pretty leftist influencers. Now he'll end up a Hassan in 6 years.
Yeah.
He's going to be the new Hassan.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't like that there's no nuance anymore. You know what I mean? Everything has to be black and white. You know what I mean? You have to totally align. Like I always cite J.K. Rowling. She's 99% with these people because she's the 1% out with the trans argument because she's pro-woman. They throw her completely out. Yet she agrees 99.9% with you.
Yeah.
I hate that there's no nuance, that we can't have little fucking disagreements. We can't agree on everything, man, but we can agree on most things. But there's never that anymore. No nuance in argument anymore.
There's nothing like that. But let me jump in chat real quick. We got Ebi Canales. He must have heard his ears ringing. We were talking about him. Shout out to you, Ebi. We were just talking about the Basque. We were just talking about Spain. We were talking about all that stuff. We even mentioned your fantastic cover on Superkillers. So good to see you in chat, bro. All the way over there. You're in our quadrilla. Quadrilla, if you didn't know, Clippa, is what they the term they use for their friendship groups over there in Spain. And Ebi schooled me on that when we had a little conversation. And so he's got an international quadrilla. I don't think I'm saying it right, but that's how I say quesadilla as well. So, como estás, mi amigo? Hope you're doing good over there. But back to what we were doing before I got interrupted by the famous Ebi Canales jumping in chat. No, I think you're right, 100%, Riley. You have to figure out what's going on with the social element, but you can't lose yourself. And I think we know when you say yay, I think he's a very good example of that. But some people make the argument too that, well, what happened when he went with the whole Kardashian thing? He got married to the Kardashians, had 4 kids with them. Now he's kind of under their thumb. Why didn't he just marry somebody that wasn't so entrenched into the Hollywood?
He was under the frame. He was under the frame of the way to be a successful black guy is to sign to a label, like work with someone like Jay-Z and make hot music and buy cool cars and wear nice jewelry and have the best shoes. He bought into that frame, and he spent the first 7-8 years of his career trying to live up to the frame that was set. It wasn't until he got big enough that he felt like he could step out. And again, he accepted the frame, but he decided to break the frame. He's breaking the painting. It's not that he was never in the painting.
Right.
He was 100% like any other black entertainment artist of our times. And at some point, he decided to be more conscious about it. He decided to try to get control of his masters. He decided to break away from Jay-Z. And then he married the porn star that he said he wanted to marry, right? Back when he was like more of a trash entertainer, a BET type guy.
Yeah.
And that was enough bait to pull him back in. Now, if we're getting conspiratorial, I think there's handlers in Hollywood. I think when Justin Bieber is maybe leaving the reservation, that one of the Baldwin family members have to marry him and pull him back in.
I agree.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
So I think that happened with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that, and the Kardashian cabal includes like Ryan Seacrest and stuff. Like, these people are the most influential and important producers in mainstream Hollywood. Like, as far as culture goes, since 2008, 9, 11, that group of people has been painting what kids are going to do next.
Yeah, and it's reality TV. We were just talking about that. We were talking about Coachella. Yes. Justin Bieber headlined Coachella, put in the most low-effort performance ever, playing YouTube on top of the big screen, and people were like, oh my God, that's so original. And he got paid over $10 million for it. And I completely agree with you. I think that his wife is not his wife. She's his handler. That's why her makeup line went $1 billion, bro. Have you ever heard of Hailey Bieber's makeup? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never, all of a sudden she's.
I wear it all the time. So I look young and handsome.
Is that the secret, James? You got a little bit of that?
Yeah, that's the secret.
Well, that makes sense. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. And Steve and her dad, Stephen Baldwin, that is a creepy ass motherfucker, bro. That guy is off his rocker.
He had a weird turn in Big Brother UK as well. He was always flashing his Bible and talking about biblical verses and all that. He got very into that, I think.
Yeah, he's big time like uber Christian. You know, if you remember, Justin Bieber went through his whole Christian thing where he was with that church. I forget what the church was called, the Cornerstone Church or something like that, the celebrity church. And then it turned out that the pastor was really fucking all these women behind the scenes.
Is that the one Chris Pratt went to as well? He went to one, didn't he?
I think that was the one that Chris Pratt went to. Do you remember that, Riley, when Justin Bieber has his whole Christian arch? Hold on, I gotta replace the. There was that glitch with the audio. My bad on that, guys. Let me get that real quick. It just dropped out. I tried fixing it last night, but I guess I didn't get it. I keep researching it and trying to fix that bullshit. But okay, all right. Say something real quick, Riley. See if you're back.
Yeah.
All right, you're back. You're back.
Bieber was seen at some of the hanging around Ye during the whole attempt for Ye to do the Sunday school choirs and stuff. And I'll send you a video of that later. It was really good. He did a performance of Hurricane with Ye, and he was there for a whole like Sunday school choir session.
Yeah.
And then he disappears and starts doing like tweaking videos and stuff, you know?
Right.
And then he gets sent to the farm.
Yeah, he got sent to the farm. Exactly.
A little Swedish resort they all get sent to, the retreat, where they're cut off from everybody for 2 or 3 months, and they just get medicated. Well,
and there's something crazy about this. We got Chuck Norris Gun Club. Shout out to you, bro. I see you in the chat. Good to see you out there, Chuck Norris Gun Club. There's a couple of these billionaire resorts. There's one in the middle of the desert out here. I think it's in like it might be in northern Arizona. And it's a billionaire resort where Bieber goes and these other people go, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no vehicles. You have to get driven in. I saw a documentary on it, and it costs a fortune to stay there. They have on the premises doctors and all that kind of stuff. It's where they get reprogrammed. It's exactly what you're talking about, Riley. And they reprogram like Ye, they reprogram Justin Bieber, and even about Justin Bieber almost getting in a fight with who was that with Usher in this last little get together. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that.
On my pals.
Yeah, no.
Diddy kind of seemed to serve him up to Usher, and Usher seems to have either been the one protecting him from Diddy or one of the victimizers that he had to contend with.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I'd make the argument that Usher was one of the predators, because Usher got served up to Diddy when he was 15. He slept on Diddy's couch for like 2 or 3 years, whatever that means. And then he turned into the big star that he is, and then they tried to repeat that same process with Justin Bieber.
How many times has the groomed become the groomer?
Quite often. That's quite often how it happens. That's how they propagate that mindset. But what's really interesting is I saw Justin Bieber singing with himself as a young kid at Coachella on the big screen. What were your thoughts about that, Riley?
I actually like the idea. I mean, but to me, it's more of a maybe an artistic like call for help. That nobody on his team wanted him to do that shit.
Yeah.
That is rebellion, is to go like, okay, well, I'm just going to phone it in such a public way that everyone has to talk about what's wrong with me right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of these celebrities do when they have their big crash outs. Think Johnny Cash eating cake naked in the drive-thru, right?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, or Charlie Sheen's behavior is a good example of this too. Like they really are like looking for that negative attention because everyone thinks that they're okay and maybe they're not. With Bieber, I mean, there's all kinds of things, but a couple of years ago, he and Benny Blanco released my favorite Justin Bieber song, "Lonely," about how he like cannot relate to anyone because he grew up a peerless person. He was very briefly, I think he was friends with Michael Jackson, like as a very young child.
Yeah.
Right as he died, or right before he died, he met Michael Jackson. So I think that that's probably damaging. The idea that you're like a peerless person, Macaulay Culkin used to talk about it too. And Bieber and Macaulay are the only people I can name who were that famous as kids.
Macaulay Culkin is so well balanced now, isn't he?
Right, so you got to think like how good is Bieber actually doing versus like, well, Bieber just had a lot more institutionalized like protection and hiding his problems from you guys
Yeah, yeah.
than maybe Macaulay ended up having.
Well, I was being sarcastic. I think he's struggling a bit
No, he's
too.
doing terrible.
Yeah, I think he's struggling quite a bit. But no, and I think there are a lot of shit happened to Bieber, and you know, I think about a lot of that when I was watching him singing with who he used to be. I think he was trying to remember who he used to be, and like it felt really sad to me. It wasn't like this. He looked like he was
Yes,
a
exactly.
heroin addict that was looking at like the promise that his life could become, and he thinks that he achieved his dreams, but the world played a cruel joke on him, and his dreams became his nightmares. But everybody thinks he's living this fantastic life, and he's not really doing that. I think that's kind of what's going on right there.
Well, I think they're all like pretty much that miserable. Tyler the Creator complains every 3 days about how people saw him in public and took a picture, and it's like, yeah, man, that's what the money's for. You're world famous now.
Yeah.
You're in movies now. You were in Marty Supreme. People get to take your picture. They get to upload security footage that you're in.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's what the money's for, right? And I think a lot of these people, they didn't understand that was the trade-off. And how could you? Tyler's another example. He was 15 when he drew the donut for Odd Future.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the time he was 20, he had built an empire around him with TV shows and clothing brands, and he made all of his friends famous musicians like Frank Ocean. Like, what are you supposed to do with that after you've done it?
Right, and how do you go back to normal life? I think you just do the Dave Chappelle thing. You go out and you buy a farm out somewhere in Ohio or something. But you said something really powerful, and I think that I should highlight it.
That's rare.
No, you said something really powerful. The first thing that you said was that he rejected his frame that he was given. You know, Ye went and he became that black superstar, but then he decided that wasn't the answer, and he rejected the frame. So I think it's important to understand
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't disagree.
Like, when he said that, though, that was like, everyone went, wait, what?
Yeah, I remember.
And it's the Homelander moment of like looking around, like, and then starting to smile, like, wait, they like me? Ye, after he said it, went, oh, I can say this stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best music video of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he started being that guy, and he started doing that for the elite friends of his. Like, so when he did the Beyonce thing, right? He's doing that because he wants to help Beyonce and Jay-Z. And Beyonce and Jay-Z like hated him for it and were embarrassed by him and thought less of him because of it and treated him worse. Like,
well, the interesting thing about this is like people might not like Ye or they might like Jay-Z or whatever, but the interesting thing about this is it casts light upon these places that we normally don't see, how the upper echelon, the inner workings of the upper echelon, and how they try to control things in order to issue like a narrative down to all the masses, and then we're all looking at them, up at them, thinking like, wow, isn't it great to be the Beatles, or isn't it great to be Ye, or isn't it great to be whatever, when really it's not. It comes with its own mess of problems. You're locked in, and the worst part about it is you realize that money doesn't solve these problems. You just have different types of problems, and it sucks.
All of the money and fame, and I still can't see my children.
And he
as Ye said last year.
Yeah. And, something famous that somebody said to me one time was, if you can buy it, it's not valuable. It's not, if it's expensive and you can still buy it, it's not really valuable. And like the family is what is valuable there, him seeing his children. So he's a billionaire and he still can't get his children, which is wild. And, that would make me want to rebel. That would make me want to wear sweatpants into, the nicest restaurant, or, buy the most expensive bottles of champagne and just pour them out on the stage or whatever. I'd want to do that and say, all this is a joke. Everybody wake up, and so that's kind of what I see Ye kind of doing.
Well, and these few celebrities who do like sort of crack out of the frame that they're put in, like Gary Busey, Hunter Thompson, these are the guys who you see like, oh, wow, this guy is crazy. But they're like the only people being honest. Actually, about how fucked it all is.
Or what's his name that was in with Chevy Chase in that the Christmas Vacation, the brother. Do you remember him? He's got the big beard. He's Canadian.
Randy Quaid.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Oh yeah, okay.
Randy Quaid. He did the same thing where he talked about how his agent owned all of his house. They were trying to evict him out of his house.
Really?
They were
Is that what happened to him?
Yeah, and all this stuff was happening. They were taking his property, taking his royalties, and they were basically screwing over him and taking all the stuff. He came and he spoke out about it, and then he got blackballed even worse. And so,
and now Jack Quaid gets molested every year, 2 or 3 times a year in every movie he's in.
How weird is that, right? And so that's like a point. That's what they try to do. That's like a point. And so it definitely happens, and you start to see, these little flashes up at the higher power levels, and you see like what their politics is like. and you're like, you think twice about it. Is this something that I really want to be part of? Then of course we have all the Epstein stuff come out, and you hear about their parties and everything like that, and then you're like, holy shit! You start to get a bigger picture of what's going on, and you're like, no, I'm chill where I'm at. Let me just make 6 figures a year and eat some ice cream. I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying, James? Is it too much work to play them politic games? It's like you said, I don't give a fuck what they say, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how Ray and Riley feel, but I'm just a simple kind of man that just wants to see Britney Spears do some more knife dancing. Look, I like that shit. You know what I mean? I don't care how far gone she is. You know what I mean? I like to see Britney Spears in a skimpy outfit with some knives doing some crazy dancing. I think I've earned that. I think I deserve it, and I want to see more of it. And thank you for getting rid of her father so I can enjoy it. Thank you.
Well, Riley, she's another great example of like that whole programming. She came up in the Disney world. She was made to be a star. Then she got broken. You also got Miley Cyrus doing that. Christina.
I was gonna say Miley's a great example of that. Without Dolly Parton to guide Miley, she wouldn't have ended up like a real person.
Oh, for sure, bro. She already sounds like she got the voice of a truck driver. And also, she's going back and singing these old songs like Jolie and all these other songs. But also that girl from iCarly, she came up, she did that. She disavowed and went away. She could have been the star. She was the prototype for it all. But we were talking about concerts and like how even far back with the different Rolling Stones, Jimmy Page, all those guys, Led Zeppelin. They all had all this kind of stuff going on too, the occultism and all that. Jimmy Page famously bought Aleister Crowley's mansion out there. I think it was in Ireland or England. James, is that where it's at?
I think he lives next to Robbie Williams, so it's probably in England, isn't it? I would imagine.
And he bought that whole thing. Shout out to Ice Dancer in the chat. Good to see you, Ice Dancer. Give you a little round of applause on that one. Wait, we call her Nice Dancer now. She's Nice Dancer. But no, you're right.
I prefer Dagger Pussy.
Yeah, Dagger Pussy. Yeah, 100%.
That's her rap name.
Yeah, she's on the street. What's going on? But no, 100%. I agree. And you got that whole cult thing. And I really feel like the cult thing was the beginning of it. The Aleister Crowley thing, the occult thing. Then it's evolving into this AI, this what do they call it when they want to have you become more than a person? What do they call it?
Transhumanism.
Yeah, transhumanism. That's where we're at now with the integration of the AI. And Riley, we're seeing the same thing that they do on Yay. We're seeing that even in the tech world right now.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you see like all of these pressures to push the direction one way. You had Ye, he's doing it in the music. They try to push him to say, hey, we want you to make this kind of music for this reason to do this. Now that the tech is becoming larger and larger, have you noticed that all of the tech companies are pushing everything in one general direction? Like there's no, a backlash. Everybody's going all in on this AI to maximize coverage, to maximize the camera coverage, the recognition, the lockdown, this whole digital security system, throughout everything. It's all integrating seamlessly. It seems like without anybody voting on it, without any voices that are saying, no, stop this. We don't want to do this. Or even any other offerings in the public market to say, hey, you might want to have this all AI product, but we're going to give you the old school product just made better. So that's an option. They're eliminating the options.
That's true. It would take effort and criticism and all these uncomfortable things in order to achieve greatness without AI. AI just takes some prompts, they think. But it's taking your ability to, it's like you are offloading the mental effort that it takes to learn anything onto something else, and you're becoming stupider because of it.
Well, you're right on that. 100% right.
That's my only problem with AI.
Well, no,
I think AI as a tool is whatever, but I think that the democratization of talent, like, or skills or whatever, is like a myth that it can't happen. You can't get good at something by not doing it.
100%.
You can never ever develop the taste or the not even just the skills. Like, okay, I don't play piano.
Yeah.
But I know a couple of the chords. Yeah. And I can organize them on a MIDI.
Yeah.
Once you get to the point where I'm just typing like, please give me a song in C minor that's 3 minutes and 40 seconds for a pop singer that I'm working on a song with, like, then you can't. Music is fucking over.
Okay, Riley, I have something serious I want to ask you about. Before I do that, We got Ice in the chat. She says she's making Merch go to a giant book sale this weekend. He's gonna hate it. That's hilarious.
Merchant books.
Yeah, if you can, James, give. We're gonna do a South London. James, tell Ice what she should do when she takes Merch to the book fair. That's pretty crazy. James.
Yeah, you should like take him to look at all these fantasy books and stuff. You know what I mean? I think that'd be right up his street. You know, get him into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and, you know, Game of Thrones. You know, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Get him into the magical world of Warcraft and whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get him into that.
No, I think it's great. Ice, take him out there. He needs a little bit more of that experience, that culture. Get him a Frosty.
And then get him into those romance novels, mate, if they've got any there. You know, the Mills and Boone stuff, Barbara Cartland. Like my old mum used to read.
Yeah, get him a Frosty and fries, you know, so that he has something to munch on while he's doing it. You know, whenever I would
order him a copy of SUPERKILLERs so he enjoys a book this year.
Oh, 100%. Get him.
Imagine meeting a girl, right, who wants to expand your horizons. That would do my fucking nutting, I'll tell you.
I know, that's fantastic. I think that's incredible. So shout out to Ice. Big props to you for doing that. Just get him a little something to eat on while he's walking around. It'll make the experience a lot better, and he'll probably enjoy that, doing that more. I used to do that for women, and when I would take them to galleries and stuff, I'd buy them a little food or a little cocktail so that they would enjoy it more, get a little buzz, and then they would be more likely to do it again and really have fun doing that. All right, Riley.
That's how they train dogs, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's how they train the dogs.
Yeah, Pavlovian dating.
Yeah, no, that's what you got to do. Positive reinforcement with snacks, bro. That's what you got to do.
We love snacks.
Yeah, we love snacks. And then King Yeti says, after that, take Merch to the zoo. Or no, he's going to take you to the zoo, 100%. But Riley, okay, here's the heavy topic that I was going to ask you. You just brought this up, and it's fantastic, okay? So I think the main contribution of artists is not necessarily their art, but the expanded horizon they get through the conversation with the creator or the magnet or whatever the source or whatever you want to call that, and they inject that into society. If we remove the artist, then we remove that influence in our society, and what happens then? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, that's the worst case possible. That's the death of creation. Creation is let's put it this way: expression is the opposite of depression. Okay. Not happiness.
Yeah.
It's expressing yourself. And once you take the yourself out of the expression, then you're propagandizing. You're making or sharing propaganda for other people. It has nothing to do with you. It's not coming from the source. It's if you're like, I want radio plays, I'm going to create a Charlie Puth song with AI.
Yeah.
You're taking away all of the things that got Charlie Puth to his songs.
Yeah.
And so I can't get anything out of an AI song.
No, 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. And I think, like, when you connect to the source and you have true, honest creation, it has its own energy to it. Whereas propaganda is
well, that's what the art is, right? It's not the product. Like the product can end up is the result of whatever the art experience is. The art experience is that conversation you have with your keyboard, with your pencil, with your paintbrush. That's the creation. That the creation moment is art, and then everything after that is product or propaganda.
100%.
It depends on how you're aiming it, how you're marketing it, and what the intent of it is.
Right. And so the creators are like mini power plants that inject this energy into society. And if we remove that, it's going to degrade the entire lifestyle, the entire vision, the entire expectation of life from everybody. You become downgraded. It's like if you look at the Soviet Union, all of their architecture were boxes. It was all depressing. It was all terrible. There was no self-expression. And I think that's the single biggest danger that we run when we look at AI. And everybody thinks about art as it's a product. That's the product is what takes place after the art. And people need to understand that art is an experience. It's not a product. And that's why it's so important. I also believe that AI is doublespeak. And let me tell you this real quick, Riley, then we'll come to James. Doublespeak is when somebody uses a word that might mean one thing to you, but it means something else to me. Like if I say, hey, Riley, you want some of this almond milk? Well, guess what? Almonds, you can't milk almonds. You can, if they don't have nipples, bro. They don't have nipples. It's a chemical. It's a chemical with almond flavoring. It's not really milk. But see, the mom or whatever, she might think, oh, well, that's just like milk. And so that's the deception. That's what's going on with AI. AI is not a creative thing. It's just
Well, it's not artificial, it's engineered, and it's not intelligence. It's like sourcing
yes,
other people's opinions from somewhere.
it's a
So
tokenized prediction based upon statistical data. That's all it
it's
is.
engineered knowledge. It's not artificial intelligence.
100%. And so with that, to that end, the whole world's kind of being duped right now with this word artificial intelligence. We were pre-programmed with all the movies before, like Star Trek, when we would have data, could the android come on and he would act like he knew everything, right? And that's, so that's what we think AI is. It's nothing like that. It's quite the opposite, as a matter of fact. And it actually lies to you all the time. Did you know that, Riley? It lies all the time.
Oh, obviously, yeah, of course. And let me send you a video later. There's this guy I was watching who did this whole video where he goes off into the desert and is addicted to drinking milk because he gets ChatGPT to agree that he's the smartest baby in 1998 or whatever, whenever. And he like goes from there. Like ChatGPT agrees with the premise, doesn't reject the premise. Oh yeah, I was the smartest baby in this year that I was born. And there's no proof for this, and he just keeps convincing it. And then it starts to flavor his actions like, oh, should I? And if someone believes this way and is kind of mentally ill or unhinged, or a lot of people are susceptible to basic like gaslighting, right?
Yes.
So you have this device that's an expert gaslighter that's confirming for you your delusions and adds stuff like, well, if you were drinking a lot of milk as a baby, maybe that's why you were the smartest baby in that year.
Okay.
You should drink nothing but milk all the time now. And now this guy on this YouTube video is drinking milk. And then he's like, I'm worried someone's going to stop me because they don't want me to be the smartest person alive anymore. So then ChatGPT is like, then you've got to stop telling your friends what you're doing. You've got to get away from them. Go out into the woods and rent this trailer. Like, so over the course of this video, he lets ChatGPT gaslight him into isolating himself socially and doing unhealthy habits to maintain a delusion.
Wow.
And that's happening to everyone that's using it socially, conversationally, etc. They're being gassed up constantly. There's a therapist mode on Grok, which should be illegal.
Yes, I agree.
That should be a crime to even label it that way.
Yeah. And I bet the AI never even told that guy drinking milk to drink unpasteurized milk, which is the best version of it. He wanted it pasteurized because a certain group of people can't process unpasteurized milk. DJ John in the chat, Miami John says, I think this is the first time Riley has come on in his natural caller. Usually he's got some kind of crazy filtering going on. 100% true.
Don't worry, this is a filter to highlight the gay Italian jacket I've lost enough weight to wear.
Yeah, let's fucking go. Yeah, Riley, you are looking a lot thinner. Let's fucking go. James, I was going to ask you this question. It's very interesting that AI is being used to also separate the different generations. Older generation is being pushed out and almost thrown away. Have you had a unique view upon that? I mean, I see it with my mom. Like, I talk to my mom quite often, and my dad too, as a matter of fact. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck this shit is, and then they fucking go crazy. What are your thoughts?
It's the analog man in the digital age theory, isn't it? I always coin, but like going back to what you're saying, my worry is that we're getting rid of the individual, and we're getting rid of individual characteristics. If you look at this stream, we coexist very nicely, but we're three very different people, aren't we? Maybe in our outlooks, the way we dress, the way we act, but we get on smoothly because we understand that to coexist, to progress, to get on, you need different people with different characteristics. People to be able to conduct themselves in different ways, different manners. We dress different, we act different. You know what I mean? And that would be my worry with regards. If you look at, they were talking about how rap is going down and we have a renaissance in pop music. Well, why do you think we're having a renaissance in pop music? Because pop music is very formulaic. You know what I mean? That's why we're seeing the rise of pop, I think. And you're seeing the lack of individuals and characters and characteristics being taken away. And if you link it to politics and the European Union wants a one-size-fits-all. They want to take the individualities away from the country. So in order to have this European open borders continent, you have to say to England, Britain, United Kingdom, Spain, France, Russia, reject your culture, reject your history, reject your national identity, reject your flag, reject your national anthem, reject every aspect of the individual so we can become one under the EU flag, under the Brussels, under the national anthem, the United States of Europe. You must reject individuality and the individual characteristics that make us different as people. And I think that's what's coming for us now. They want a very one size fits all, don't they? One standard. You will dress the same, you will act the same, you will look the same, you will earn the same. They're even talking about universal incomes coming in this country. They're talking about you'll earn 1,200 to 600, 1,600 a month just for sitting on your arsehole. You know what I mean? This is what they want. This is what they want to bring in, don't they? That's how I feel about it anyway.
No, I agree with you 100%. And we already see that UBI is for immigrants. They get it all the time. I mean, I was watching this video about this black guy was talking about he's got a Jewish friend. The Jewish friend was telling him how to scam the system, how to get his wife, don't marry her in the state, just have kids with her, have her claim Section 8 housing. You buy the house through this other situation, have her move into the house, then sell your house to your relatives, have your relatives raise the rent so they actually make a profit on the house. The state pays for her to live there, pays you for the house, and you make a profit on top of it. What about that, Riley? That's kind of what we're seeing with AI.
That doesn't sound Jewish at all. Right?
yeah.
Nothing about that hit me as particularly Jewish.
I know, right? That's crazy. We got that, and that's kind of what they want us to have happen. They don't want that individualistic expression, and I think that's why it's so important that people support Ye, because he's trying to do that individualistic expression. He's showing us that he's made mistakes at the highest level, and he's also humble enough to correct those mistakes and try to go forward. What are your thoughts on that, Riley?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Let's see. We got.
They also do this tear down your heroes thing, don't they? Have you noticed about the modern generation? They always like to tear down the heroes of previous generations, people that we looked up to, people that respect art and artists. This is the very modern way, in the way that the 18 to 30 crowd are now. They mock, they reject, they slander, they slag off. You know, they're all about tearing down our heroes. You know what I mean? That's their whole raison d'etre.
Yeah, it's all tear down, no build up. 100% agree with that. We got Julian in the chat. He says, well, most North Americans already refer to Europe as a monolith. That's 100% true. They tried it in Manitoba and Norway. Didn't it fail? I think it did fail. We're going to have to resist this kind of stuff. But, it's not going to be as difficult as people think. And, there's a lot of ways to succeed. But the thing is it requires you to be disciplined and to do some of the work for yourself in order to get more independence. We in the past 30 or 40 years, we've had the luxury of not having to do work, but still having independence. But we're going to have to do work in order to gain that independence. You're going to have to go back into your kitchen. You're going to have to cook. You're going to have to get your girl to cook. You're going to have to maybe even school your own kids. I don't even know why you would send your kids to school in the first place. I mean, with YouTube and everything like that, you could create your own type of curriculum that could be
homeschooling.
Fantastic. Yeah,
that's probably the way to go, isn't it?
And then the argument used to always be that homeschool kids turn out weird. Well, I'm looking at the kids in school right now turning out like they're going to be dogs, cats, trans, all this.
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
all
stuff.
under socialized. They're all in niche subgroups of culture anyway.
That's right. So why not take advantage of that and just kind of uplift your child? Why would you give your best relationship to the state? You have a child, it's your best relationship you've ever had. You want to stay close to that child. You don't want to send them off to college and have them come back and stab you in the back, cut their hair off, cut their boobs off, tell you that they're going to go live in Zimbabwe, in a hut and all this kind of stuff. When you had hopes and dreams and aspirations for them, you spent 20 years pouring into them and then they fucking, skedaddle because their one sociology teacher was a lesbian and shamed them for being white. Like, what the fuck is that all about, Riley? What are your thoughts on that? I know I threw you a little hot potato right there, a little bit of a
no, you're
curveball.
good. I mean, I think anybody that has access to your kids is going to do some amount of restructuring them. Now you used to be able to trust like that the public school might generally restructure the way they think towards working at a factory, the factory model. That's why we have public schooling, is so that you're a better employee one day. Now that's like a baseline. Like I accept that amount of social engineering for my family. That will probably help them. Once you get into identity politics and the separation of church and state was less of a separation and more of a, we're going to rage against the church inside of the state facilities. So then that creates the divide. If you want to have your kid be religious, it's harder to have a religious kid in a public school system, especially in a metropolitan area. And then from there, everything else, it comes from that. I love expressions. Like if you're like a weirdo little kid who you want to wear fucking guy polish on your nails or whatever, I might call you a slur or two in a friendly way. But do whatever the fuck you want. That's the point of existing, is to do whatever you want all the time until someone kills you. But a lot of these people aren't doing it because that's what they want to do. They're doing it because they're told that's how they fit into the in-group. They're doing that because there's a perceived, like I was saying earlier, there's this perceived punishment for people who are not bending over backwards to participate in the subculture of like leftist expression. I wearing cowboy hats in Nevada should not have been like a thing that was negative. But in my last years in high school, there were kids who like weren't allowed to wear cowboy hats anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was seen as, oh man, that's like virtue signaling Texan racism and shit.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, and it's very
the same reason all the comedians moved to Texas to turn it blue.
Yeah.
Is to get rid of that masculine subculture.
Yeah, exactly, and that was a big crazy thing. But you really have to protect your kids. We got King Yeti in the chat. He says that's why he doesn't leave his kids alone with anyone. Completely agree with that. It only takes one experience to change your child's life forever, and that's terrible. And these teachers out here now, they think that their students are their own students. They're not the parents.
Well, they don't have kids. They're usually 30 to 40-year-old women without a family themselves.
That's right.
And they need to raise these kids or fuck them because they have no other way to.
Bro, and that's
handle
wild
that.
too, because the amount of women fucking kids nowadays is fucking skyrocketing.
I think we've just found out about it more.
Yeah, I think
that they've always been doing.
I agree.
Man, do I say this publicly? I had sex with a high school teacher.
Allegedly, when you were 18, allegedly.
Well, I mean, I don't care if they're perceived as a rapist.
But seriously, I agree.
I also didn't think that she was a rapist.
Yeah, well, I mean, and when you're a kid, you can't think that. You don't ever think that. It's because you don't have the ability to make the decision to think that, and that's the whole point why we don't let kids.
When I was 17, maybe if I was 14, it'd be different.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly. But that's the reason why.
And I had dropped out of school already, by the way. I had dropped out and met her at a bar.
Yeah.
So
this is 17 at a bar.
Where I was underage drinking. So yeah, it's like I can take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
So I understand the responsibility argument on the other end of it too.
Yeah. Wait, did you have a false ID to get in, or did you just know people?
No, it was that kind of town.
Yeah, it's just that kind of town. Yeah, I've been there.
Thank God D-Wag isn't on stream. We would have fainted by now.
Yeah, D-Wag would have fainted. Yeah, if Riley told that story, D-Wag would have. He would have fainted for sure. But no, I mean, that's what's going on. You have to protect your family. That's the era we're moving into. No more of this like autopilot through life kind of shit, or else the machine's going to chop you and your family up. We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. We're coming up on the top of the hour. Riley, what are your final thoughts? We covered a lot of stuff while you were here. We had a great time. Thanks for popping on. What are your final thoughts about some of this stuff?
I want to talk about something I heard before I
I
was listening for a bit, and then I stopped listening to get on. The last thing I heard you guys talk about before your Mickey Rourke conversation was the way that the internet spaces are becoming more corporatized entertainment, like reality shows. And I would say, look at Fish Tank.
Yes.
To see how something totally awesome, organic, hilarious, and non-censored became a corporate product ran by retards who are trying to make it more and more commercial every year. And now nobody cares about it, and it doesn't matter.
Yes.
And it's like they took something that could have been like a fun parody of Big Brother, and they spent 6 years, like 5 years, whatever, beating all the, maybe it's only been 3.
They beat the fun out of it. Yeah.
They beat all of the fun out of it, and they made it like a Big Brother.
Yeah.
Like, which I don't want to watch, because if I was going to watch Big Brother, I'd watch Big Brother.
Yeah.
So
it always gets like that, though, isn't it? It's like flogging a dead horse. Eventually things go on far too long, don't they? They get fucked up, they get changed, they get altered. Everything that you realise when you start out, you have this like naive thing that you think it's going to be one thing, and it always turns out to end up out another way.
Bam Margera host the new season.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's fucking
weird.
wild.
Didn't Ralph go into something like that? Didn't Ralph go into Fish Tank?
Yeah, he did there's a Mexican spin-off Fish Tank that Ralph went on.
It's called Pescado.
And he got into like a fist fight.
Yeah. That's a fish in the Spanish. Pescado. That's wild, bro. That's crazy.
Pescado prison down there,
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
I wanted to say that as a final thought on that topic, and then the most expensive pizza you guys are talking about. I had a $95 pizza in Ketchum, Idaho once.
One piece of pizza was $95?
Luckily, the whole pizza was $95. Okay.
Yeah.
But
were you at a festival or something, or was it just
a business meeting at the there's a restaurant, I can't remember the name of it. It's like a train station themed restaurant at the top of a mountain in Ketchum, Idaho.
Oh, okay.
and it's Bruce Willis' family lived up there.
Okay, yeah.
My friend's mom was the nanny for like Bruce's family,
Nice, nice.
so he knows the daughter and stuff. And we were just up there for an unrelated like thing, like to hang out and see like where he grew up and stuff. And it was a guy I ran a marketing group with.
That's cool.
So we were at a business meeting, and at the end of the meeting, we get the checks, and we had 4 pizzas at the table.
Oh shit.
And so it was a 400, and that's not even counting the drinks. Like it was like $400
Bro,
for this
wild.
business meeting.
That is wild.
We did not make all that money back.
No. I've been to a couple of like I've been to Telluride, a couple of different kind of elitist kind of areas, and that shit gets expensive quick. And you like, I mean, I'm talking you order a Coke, it's $11, and you would never think that. You would never think, and it's not free refills either. And so you're like racking up $50 in Coke bill, and you're just like, "Where's the tequila, bro? What the fuck?" But no, you're spot on with both of those statements. Bruce Willis was he was my favorite action star back in the day. Absolutely hate seeing his family parade him around now for likes and engagement, but that's neither here nor there. But Riley, you and I are going to be on Comicsgate Commandos a little bit later on tonight, so everybody come on over there and watch us on that. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have a great time over there. We're going to get into it with Patrick Quinlan. He's a great guy, and we're just going to chop it up a little bit and do whatever he's going to talk about, so that'll be fun. Where else can people find you, Riley?
Twitter at CG Scumlord, or on YouTube at Clipiverse. That's where I community post all of my appearances to the wall, and I'm going to be doing more content on there soon. Right now, I'm doing a song a month or so.
Okay,
I'd
let's
like
go.
to get that up to a song every week or two.
Okay, let's go.
Because I think I have that productive capability in me.
Well,
so,
I think you have that capability too. We got Carrie C in the chat. She's asking, what's the channel? I'm going to try to find it real quick for you, Carrie C. So go follow.
And Patrick is at Logos Comics.
What's his YouTube? That's what I'm looking up right now. Is it Logos Comics?
I think it is.
Okay, I'm looking that up real quick on YouTube. Yeah, Comicsgate Commandos, Logos Comics. Okay, great. Yeah, here it is right here.
Yeah.
Let me just share that real quick, guest in video. Yeah, we got it. It's coming up right here. We got the Comicsgate Commandos. It's going to be on the channel. Logos Comics right here. Logos Comics, right? Boom. And yeah, well, maybe we can get Johnny Rocket to do his James impression. He was crushing with that yesterday on the Ministry of the Dude.
That was awesome. When you guys came in hot with the character bits and maintained them for a while. I mean, I know you broke yours.
I broke
like
mine when he started
earlier.
doing Frog Tony and Liam and all that stuff. And I was just like, bro, you're killing the show with this, bro. What are you doing? I was like, let's stay with these bits, bro. Let's keep it going with Johnny doing the bruv, the South London James, and me doing. I was trying to do Johnny. And I was like gonna talk like how he talks all funny and wild and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we were having a good time doing that. So everybody, if you want to come watch us later on tonight, Comicsgate Commandos, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be me and Riley, and Johnny might jump on too with Patrick Quinlan. That'll be a lot of fun. James, what are your final thoughts wrapping it up? You can't put your kids in school. You got to be careful when you go to concerts. What are your thoughts on all that?
Be yourself at all times. That's what's got me so far, you know what I mean? I'm just myself all the time. D-Wag doesn't like my sex stories, but what are you going to do? You can't win them all, can you? But no. Yeah, I heard I was really good yesterday on Ministry of Dude, so if you haven't seen that, go and pop and watch me. Go and watch the lads later on Comicsgate Commandos. Like I say, always a pleasure, never a chore, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, follow James Domenico Graben on YouTube and James Domenico Graben 81 on wait, that's YouTube. James Domenico Graben is on X and James Domenico Graben 81 on YouTube. Also, we're going to try to get James on maybe a little Nightwave, maybe get him on a little Ministry of the Dude, give him some of that South London James vibe, and kick some ass. So everybody else.
Bruv's political correspondent, James Graben.
He is, bro. He's our representative, man. I got a theme song coming too. I might show it to you guys after this backstage if you guys want to hear it. But
I might get into it a bit with that Lyle from Argentina. I might get into it with him. He might start disagreeing with me, mightn't he? I might have to take a trip to South America and slap him.
That's right. Go down to Brazil and slap Kyle a little bit.
Fight.
But we got thanks to Carrie, thanks to King Yeti, thanks to I saw Chuck Norris Gun Club in here. Thanks to C-Cell SoCal. Thanks to Julian for popping on. Thanks for Miami John. Thanks for all you guys. Kelly Cat, Ice Dancer. Hey, Ice Dancer, take Mersh out, have a good time. He'll enjoy it. Find him a book about guns. He'll absolutely love it and kick some ass. But we're out of
And
here,
tell
everybody.
him to promote Super Killers more.
That's right. Promote Super Killers. Let's fucking go. We're out of here, people. Kick some ass.